welcome to the first episode of the Not From Nash podcast. My name is James.
My name is Nick.
Nick what?
Garrett.
My name's James Hart. So this whole idea kind of sparked. Neither of us are from Nashville. I'm from a small town outside of New York, in New Jersey called Carteret. Nick's from 800 different places.
Yeah, my dad was military, so growing up, I've probably lived in about 10 different places. Longest place I've ever lived, 4.5 years, if that. So well-traveled in my 23 years.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've lived in 2 places. Oh, my God.
Buddy, you got the tuner kit on that thing.
Welcome to downtown Nashville, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, so neither of us are from Nashville. Both moved here within the past year and a half. He's been here like a year longer than I have. I've been here like 5-6 months now. Basically just going to talk to people, who may or may not be from Nashville, get their experiences. Basically just talk everything Nashville that we experience. And then, have a diverse group of guests on that'll bring something different to the table. I think it's pretty common that nobody's from Nashville that lives here. I'm sure there's a very select few, but for the most part, anybody I've come across does not live here.
Yeah, man, I joke about this all the time. Like when tourists come in to work and everything like that, I'll just be like, they'll be like, hey, are you from Nashville? I just look at them, I'm like, nobody's from Nashville, man. Like, come on now. Like, I was like, anybody our age is more than likely from out of town.
Yeah.
I've probably met less than 10 people from actually like Nashville, not even. They're like, yeah, I'm from Tennessee, but it's however far out. So in general though, Nashville's a crazy place.
Yeah, dude, I love it.
Would never trade it for anything. Like, yeah. I've been here, fell in love.
Yeah, I love it here, man. I was really nervous when I first, made the decision to come here. Got a job opportunity and it happened to be located here. And I sent it and it ended up working out. The job's going great. The place is definitely different than where I'm from, and it was a big adjustment, but I love it, dude. The people out here are super nice. Everybody, so from what I gather, everybody's doing something. Everybody's got something going on.
100%.
Like nobody out here is just bumming it.
I feel that way, and then at the same time, we could be out Sunday night, 1:30 at night, packed bar.
Yeah.
So it's like everybody's doing something, but at the same time, it's just like you will never not find something going on in Nashville.
Yeah, I tell my friends all the time, they're like, oh, like it's just a drinking city. But I'm like, people play hard here, but they work hard too. Like,
you have to, man. You
see it at the gym. You see it at restaurants you go to. Like, people are busting their balls, and they have to. Like, it's not a cheap city to live in for sure.
By no means cheap. Everything costs a little bit of money out here.
Yeah, it's definitely cheaper than New York, but
oh yeah,
in comparison to like if I were to move 30 minutes away, it'd probably be half the price.
For sure. I think I used to live like a little bit outside the city before I moved downtown, and probably like save $300-$400 every month.
Yeah,
like, and that adds up.
It's expensive.
It's expensive, but like, just go out and get it, man.
Yeah.
What else do we have to do?
Make it. You better spend it.
For
or
sure.
Or do something good with it. And I'm probably gonna spend it, to be honest.
I will spend it as well.
All right. So like, what's I'll introduce myself like formally first, and then you go after me.
Yeah, let's go.
So I'm from Carteret, New Jersey. Born and raised, never lived anywhere else in my life. I've lived in 2 different houses, all in the same town, and then I moved here. Small family. Most of my family's in Florida. I was actually there last week visiting, so it's pretty cool to catch up with them. But my sports teams, I'm like all over the place. I like the Phillies for baseball, the Nets and the Knicks for basketball, and then football. I'm a Saints fan. I don't really have a college basketball team. However, this year, I've specifically been a fan of the Tennessee Volunteers and the LSU Tigers, just in 2 specific weeks. That's the only 2 weeks I've really rooted for college football. Other than that, I do video production for Amazon. That's like my full-time job. Travel a lot for work, get to see some really cool things around the world. And I never really traveled all that much before my job. I worked in a warehouse as a manager, made my money, got out, and then did that. Graduated with like a television digital media degree, but when I graduated, it was like peak COVID.
Where'd you go?
I went to Montclair State. It's a not small college, it's like 28,000 people, but
Private?
yeah, probably unknown to the world. Played soccer there for 3 years, hurt my back, ended up not playing my senior year, but yeah, I had a lot of fun in college, learned a lot. If I could go back, I probably wouldn't have went, to be honest, because everything I learned about like video production, photography, I did it on my own or got it from YouTube or other people, to be honest.
I feel like that's the thing nowadays, though. Like, there's some stuff you just can't learn on YouTube, but I feel like for the most part, dude, they have everything.
Yeah, I feel like the critical jobs, like the medical field, where you're dealing with people's lives.
Medical, engineering, like basically your STEM stuff. Yeah, please go to school. Like, I don't want you doing open heart surgery on me off of a YouTube video. But like,
agreed.
Like communication, business, man, like that's just all people relations.
Yeah.
To me, at least. Like, can you connect with somebody or not? Like, yeah.
I definitely, like, I learned a lot from my professors in college, but I definitely learned more by just doing it myself or on YouTube. Not to discredit them or anything. I had some amazing professors that worked at like NBC, ABC, Dateline. Like, they did some awesome stuff in their careers, and it was super cool to get to connect with them. But as far as like camera settings and lighting and all this stuff, I learned it on YouTube.
All trial by error.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. But yeah, that's pretty much me. I do have my own business called Heart Cinema. When I moved, I don't really do much of my own business, to be completely honest. I'm very busy with my full-time job and then, you know, just adjusting, moving to Nashville and stuff. Eventually, I think I'll open up my realm a bit to doing that again, but for now, I'm kind of just adjusting. So
yeah, I mean, you just got here, man. There's plenty of time to get the ball rolling on that.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that's me pretty much.
All right, so I'm Nick. Born in Fort Riley, Kansas, believe it or not. Like, people all the time, like, where were you born?
Go Jayhawks.
Yeah, go Jayhawks, rock chalk. It actually be Kansas State. Manhattan's closer. But, yeah, born in Fort Riley, Kansas. My dad was military, Army at the time. Don't remember a single thing about Kansas. Don't remember a single thing about Texas. Bounced around mostly in the South. Florida, Georgia, like 3 different parts of like southern Florida, central Florida. Like, it's all, Florida's so vast. Each little section.
Yeah, it takes
it's
12 hours to get from the bottom to the top.
It's its own being, man. So like 3 different parts of Florida, Georgia, Rhode Island, Oklahoma, Colorado, Tennessee. Like, I've been a little bit of everywhere. Been up north, been out west, been south. By far, the South is my favorite, just from a people perspective. I would say Colorado too. Colorado's very similar. They're a little bit more hippie out there, obviously. Like, it's just very easy going. Everybody's active, which I really liked. But yeah, I'd say the South has always been my home. It's always been what I've been comfortable with. Don't know if I would ever leave it at this point. Like, maybe move different states and stuff like that. Like, I love Texas. I go to Houston a lot. I love Houston. But yeah, man, the Northeast is just kind of brutal for me. I love it.
It's cold.
Yeah, it's cold. The people, I think, because it's always cold, the people are harsh. like Nashville, it'll be 22 degrees. You'll say, hey, good morning. Somebody's just bright and early, smiling. Hey, good morning. How you doing? Northeast, you go up there, hey, fuck you.
Yeah, I think, all right, so here's my take on it. I think the people in the Northeast mind their business.
Oh, 100%.
So when you're intruding on their business, it's like,
they're like, I don't know you.
Why do you care about my day?
Exactly.
Out here, everybody's very friendly, outgoing. They're interested in what other people are doing. So it's like, hey, how's your day? It's like, oh, how's your day? How you doing?
Yeah, so, I just think in general, too, it's like the Northeast, to me, is like, because you got Boston, New York, like just the city, Philly, like all the cities you have are very like hustle and bustle. Mm-hmm. Out here, it's like, oh, walking on the side of the street, yeah, here's a 30-minute conversation out of nowhere. Like, people will just move slower. Good and bad. Like, it definitely has, like, sometimes you just don't want to talk to anybody, and you end up in a conversation.
That's
but, like,
that is me.
Overall, like, just the people out here, man, like, so friendly, so kind.
Yeah, for sure. What's your favorite place that you've lived?
I would probably say still Colorado, just because that's when I got into skiing and everything like that. And like hands down to this day, skiing is by far my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, it's a very free feeling. I love it.
Like you just go, preferably like with your friends or whatnot. And like even when you're skiing with friends, you're not, because you're doing your own thing.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you'll talk on the lift. But like once you're like actually in the process of skiing down the mountain, it's just you and your music.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like you put in your music, chill, just vibe for the whole day.
I very rarely listen to music when I ski. I used to go board, like Louis snowboards. I would go with him a lot, and he'd have a speaker in his backpack. Mm-hmm. But I'm like petrified to ski with AirPods in my ears.
Oh, see, I have to do the hard wire. I don't fall. I don't even know the last time I fell skiing. But like if I were to, that AirPod is gone.
Oh, I haven't fallen in a very long time, but very scared of them coming out of my ears.
100%. Just even like taking off your helmet and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like
I'm not a helmet guy.
Yeah, I am. Safety first.
Not a helmet guy when it comes to skiing.
Safety first.
It was bad. I used to like do jumps and rails and all that stuff, and I wouldn't wear a helmet.
Same. I used to, and then I also had a back surgery, and kind of took out the sports and the terrain park for me. But
yeah, for sure.
Still love to ski. Still love to get after it. Black diamonds, I own them.
I remember when Louis was learning. Man, he was pretty good. He was like really good off the bat, and when I'd go on the terrain park, and he's like, bro, I'm not ready for that. I'm like, dude, just like go around the jumps. You don't have to hit them, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just like the regular mountain. Just avoid the stuff. He was getting ballsy the like last run of the day. He was like, I'm gonna do a little jump. He goes up, does the jump, feet first in the air, laying straight on his tailbone on some ice.
Oh no.
Louis was hurting for weeks, dude. We would go to work. We were working together at the time. We'd go to work, and he'd be like, dude, my tailbone still hurts.
He probably
dude.
broke it or fractured it.
He might have. He definitely bruised the bone for sure. At the very least.
The bone bruise sucks.
Yeah, at the very least, he bruised the bone.
Yeah, I one time me and my cousin, he came to visit us from Oklahoma City, and we were at Keystone, and we're doing like A51 out there. That's the terrain park, and I've been skiing probably 3 years at this point, so I'd say I was really comfortable with everything. Like Keystone was like my home mountain. So like I'm comfortable with it. I know everything. Like I know the terrain park inside and out. My cousin comes, skied maybe 3 times before this. He's a very athletic dude, but like he's like coming. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna do it with you. I'm gonna just follow you. I was like, all right, just please be careful, bro. Hits the lip. As soon as he hits the lip, I'm like, oh god. Like he's like leaning too far forward, then he's leaning too far back. I'm like, this is not gonna be good. Completely wipes it, shoulder first, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I know that hurt. He's like, dang, my shoulder's kind of been hurting. Turns out, like 3 months later, he like goes to get an X-ray because he was in the military, so he had to get like a checkup. They're like, when did you break your collarbone?
Oh man.
And he was like, what are you talking about?
That's brutal.
He was like, yeah, your collarbone's been broken for some time. He was like, it's healed now, but like, you broke that. And he was like, it was probably when I was skiing. I was like, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I remember I had a pretty bad fall playing basketball as a kid, and my kneecap had hurt, but I'd never gotten it checked out. And then maybe like 6 years later, I tore my ACL and my MCL, and I had to get surgery on it. And when they took the scans and stuff, they're like, you have a fracture in your kneecap that's been trying to heal for like however long. Because
the knee doesn't heal easily, by the way.
You're in the medical field, you can see the white. If the bone is whiter, it's like
your joint spaces.
Yeah, you could see that it's like trying to heal, and it just wasn't. So that fractured even worse when I did it.
Yeah, don't fracture your patella either, kids. It's gonna be brutal.
I did it.
Yeah,
they took out the bottom half, bro. They didn't even put it back together.
Yeah, it's like one of those bones. Same with kind of it's called your calcaneus, but it's basically the bottom of your foot, the bottom of your heel. If you break that, you will be in pain for a long time.
They say it gets no blood flow, so it never heals on its own. Yeah. It's crazy.
It's just one of those bones, like if you break, it's going to hurt for a while. And there's really no fixing it, and it doesn't ever heal properly.
Yeah. So what do you do for work?
So for work right now, I work on Broadway. In school, medically, for radiology. So got about a year and a half left of that. Can't wait to be done. Can't wait to be truly in my profession of choice. But Broadway, man, working on Broadway, you see some crazy shit.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it's absolutely insane.
Like, I've literally, swear to God, hand over God on the Bible, like I've seen somebody die, like right in front of where I work.
I'm sure.
Just like walking, fine, drop, hit the cement, ambulance comes, body bag.
Dude, there's some people, like, even when you're not on Broadway, you could be in Midtown, just, like, outrageously drunk.
Oh, dude, one of my favorite things about Nashville, honestly, is that if you're on Broadway mostly, this is, like, where all the tourists go, of course, but if you're on Broadway, you'll see, like, a 60-year-old man or woman obliterated.
Yeah, and it's bad.
Like getting carried by the rest of their friends, family, whatever, but, like, it's like people come here and they just lose every bit of control they have.
Yeah, I remember so some of the women's basketball team that I went to school with was out here, and they'd called me. They were like, "Hey, like, we're out here, blah, 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 come meet us." Okay, I go down there and I meet them. Mind you, it's like 10 o'clock. That's late to go to Broadway. People have been there for...
Yeah, you're waiting in line at 10 o'clock.
People have been there for 6-7 hours at that point. So I get there, and there's just, like, I'm sober. Obviously, I'm walking there. Waves of drunk people, like, walking past me, stumbling, and watching it sober is like you're in The Walking Dead. You literally feel like you're in an episode of The Walking Dead walking down the middle of Broadway at 10 o'clock sober.
Lifeless on Broadway.
Yeah, I avoid it. Yeah, I know you're the same.
So when I first moved here, which it's weird that you didn't do this, but when I first moved, or at least to me, but when I first moved here, I only went to Broadway. And I think that's kind of why, like, I'm now over it. I love Broadway for day drinking because it's not overly crowded. Like, you could go in, out, you could bar hop, no problem. There's no lines. It's fine. It's a good time. You leave, go home, do whatever. Broadway at night is a different animal, and it's an animal I no longer want to control.
Yeah, I'm cool with going, like, for day drinking on a rooftop or something when the weather's nice. But just for me personally, what turned me off to it, I was never the biggest on country music or even loud music in general. Mm-hmm. Just because, like, my ears are important, dude. I edit videos for a living. If I can't hear them, there's a problem. So I always, like, avoided that just because the live music banging off your head for hours is just no good for your ears. But just the music in general kind of turned me off. And then I didn't really know anybody. I'm the last one to go to a bar alone.
Oh, I would never. You will never see me at a bar.
The last one. I remember all my friends are like, "Bro, just go out, meet some people." Blah. I'm like, no, not happening that way.
Yeah, you will never, ever, ever, ever see me at a bar alone.
Nah, not happening. What are you trying to do?
I'm good.
Oh, I
was just moving the mic a little bit.
But yeah, I don't hate Broadway by any means. Like, my friends are coming up next weekend. I'll probably go do a day there with them.
That's what it's good for a day. Like, to me, like our friend who we were talking about previously, Louis, he came out here the first time he came out to Nashville. I was like, well, how'd you like it? And he was like, oh, I hated it. I was like, well, why? He's like, all we did was go to Broadway 3-4 nights in a row. I was like, well, yeah, I'd hate it too. like one night on Broadway and I'm good. Like, I'm good for the month. I'm good for maybe 2 months because it's just a lot. It's expensive. Broadway is super expensive. You pay like $9-10 for a beer. Vodka Red Bull, it's like $14-15.
Yeah, it's an expensive night
with
out.
tip. Yeah, it's a very expensive night out, and if you drink a lot more, you're gonna pay more, obviously. But Broadway's a lot, so, like, I encourage people to come out here. Like, please do not go to Broadway 4 nights or 3 nights in a row. Like, there's so much more to this city. There's so many cooler bars to this city than just Broadway.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, Germantown, awesome. We're a big Tin Roof, like the Mumbrian Midtown people. But East Nashville has a lot of good spots. But, like, whenever people just go straight Broadway, like, you've already been to all the bars your first night probably on Broadway because you bar hop and it doesn't change. But, you know, it's the touristy spot. It's what people do. I get it. But I just encourage people to go to other bars out here, man. There's a lot of cool bars.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of cool. And not even because, like, we're single and whatnot. But when you go to Tin Roof, there's people that literally, like, justify themselves as Tin Roof girls or I'm a Tin Roof guy. Like, that is their spot.
Guy for sure.
Like, that's their spot. And I think that's cool because nothing like that for me at home was like that. Nobody, like, swears by one bar.
Yeah, so, like, I grew up and, like, I lived in a lot of places, but I never lived in, like, super big cities, or especially, like, whenever I was able to go out, like, the biggest city I lived in was probably Colorado Springs, like Oklahoma City, whatnot. But I was like high school, middle school, so I like couldn't do any like nightlife, any social thing. But yeah, it's just different out here, man.
What's like do you have like a hospital that you're eyeing or somewhere you want to work when you graduate?
I mean, I'm open to whoever wants to hire me, but I live pretty much right down the block, so anywhere right around here, man. I would really love to be at Vandy Children's, Centennial, just any of the ones downtown. It'd be an easy commute, but end goal, just want to do like oncology with some kids, or just oncology in general, and help people out with cancer.
Why'd you get into that field?
So,
I only ask because it's probably the coolest thing about them.
no, yeah. I got into it because my freshman year of high school, I was at the beach. Grandma's rubbing on sunscreen on my back, and she finds like a little bump. I'll bring this thing back for this story. Found a little bump on my back, couldn't figure it out. Did all these different tests, all these different scans, and they had no idea what it was for the first time. Then I did like a biopsy, whatever. They sent it off to Harvard at the time. Couldn't come back with it. They were like, oh, we think it's like a tumor, but it's benign, all this other stuff. So I have it removed, and it turned out to be a chondrosarcoma, which is a tumor. It's a cancerous tumor. And at the time, they were like, yeah, it's non-cancerous. And I was freshman year of high school. So like, okay, they remove it. The way they remove it, or the way you could think of this kind of tumor, is think of it like a broccoli, and like you have the stem and then the flower. They removed the flower the first time and left the stem. So fast forward a couple years, sophomore year at college, get back from a workout one day, looking at my back, see the same bump, immediately knew what it was.
Yeah.
Like as soon as I saw it, I was like, this is probably not good. Call my mom. She's like, okay. But at the time, like that I saw it the second time, I still had no prior knowledge that it was cancer.
Yeah.
The first time, because the first time they said, no, you're fine, it's benign, nothing to worry about. Second time comes around, do a lot more scans and everything. And then the initial first person I went to had like a private conversation with my mom saying like, yo, this is pretty bad. Like he said that he didn't think it would be like good for me, like a high chance of me like to survive, basically. I was like, okay. I was like, you could say that to me. You don't have to just say it to my mom. Like I'd be the one going through it. But yeah, I ended up doing all the other tests. They sent me to a specialist. End up going to do all my treatments, all my surgeries, all my meetings, consulting, all that stuff at MD Anderson in Houston. That's why I go out there so much. Beautiful city, great time. Best medical place. Like if you ever have anything you need to do for medical, especially cancer, MD Anderson's the best spot. So I think it's like the number one in the world or something like that, or definitely in the U.S. But end up going through all that stuff. Skimming to the surgery, they like kind of figured it out. Ended up being like grade 1, 2, and like a little blend of 3. So it was pretty serious. Surgery was like about 15 hours. Had a blood transfusion. Surgery was supposed to be 6 hours. Yeah, man. And ended up waking up eventually. Don't even know when, but like the way they had me strapped, think of it like Superman, but you're just tied down. So like my shoulder was torqued for 15 hours. So I woke up, and like the thing that hurt the most was my shoulder.
Dude, I know this is going to sound so insensitive because what I did was a choice, and it was way less severe than sitting in surgery. But when I got this tattoo done, bro, I was like, my arm was like this for 6 hours straight.
No, yeah.
When my arm came back into place, I felt like I'd torn everything in my shoulder.
Yeah.
Like my shoulder hurt for a week and a half.
My first thought was that somebody took like a sledgehammer and beat the living hell out of my shoulder.
Yeah, for sure.
I was more so concerned about, because I guess from whatever medication and painkillers and whatever they had me on, like I couldn't feel my back, but I felt my shoulder. Like
for sure.
I was screaming bloody murder, and I feel like I have a pretty high pain tolerance now from all this, but screaming bloody murder about my shoulder. They end up giving me some medicine, put me back to sleep, woke up the next thing like in my hospital room. Shoulder was fine, but yeah, man, it was an experience. Definitely what changed everything. And then was in the hospital for about a month. Ended up not being able to walk for about a week, then having to like learn how to re-walk because I had metal put on my back. I had like drains in my back, had all different kinds of stuff in my back. And having to walk with a walker, then on myself, and it just felt different because like the metal fused my spine together, so it was just a whole different feeling. And then like I ended up having like this thing kind of going on with an epidural, which just kind of numbs you. Mm-hmm. And like at the time when I was laying in the bed, had about like my right leg went numb. Couldn't move my right leg at all. They cut it off halfway. Right leg comes back. Left leg goes completely numb. Then they just completely cut it off, and then like it comes back. But like I had like super sensitive nerves on the side of my legs for probably about a year. Like now it's like just now fine. Like there's like a couple spots that it's a little touchy, but it's fine. But had all that stuff go on. I think the hardest part about that experience for me is because I've always been very active, was being in the hospital for that long and laying in a bed for that long, and only being able to get up for probably about 2 minutes out of the day.
It was brutal. I like I said, I hurt my back in college playing soccer, and I would get the pain in the right side of my leg, and then my toes would go numb. Mm-hmm. And like that was like the scariest thing in the world. I'd be like working out, and I didn't find out what was actually wrong with my back. I just maybe I pulled something a little bit out of place, but I ended up fracturing a vertebrae, and it was pinching on a nerve. Mm-hmm. So that's like what would cause the numbness and the pain and all that in my legs and my back. And it was like brutal because I would get out of bed and it would hurt. Mm-hmm. I would stand up and like my foot would be numb in a matter of minutes, and I would have to lay back down, or I'd have to sit down or something. So, it's like so debilitating. So like morally it was defeating. Oh yeah.
It's like doing something so simple just as walking to this point and then not being able to do it. It is the most frustrating thing I've ever dealt with.
It's like the things you take for granted in life that you don't realize you do until they're like taken from you is crazy.
Yeah, I think of it kind of too like if you have a car and you put your car in the shop and you have no car, having to rely on everybody else, like, it's a hassle. Like, way different story, but just like simple things I feel like we take for granted so much, and people don't realize like in a second that could be away.
100%.
Yeah, man. Any kind of surgery like is scary.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Even minor.
Oh yeah, man.
Things can go wrong. Anything can happen.
Yep. For sure.
So back on the topic of Nashville, what was your favorite thing when you first came here, and then what was the toughest thing to adjust to?
My favorite thing is this city, I feel like for the most part is meant for people like us, and I say that as in like everybody here is so young, man.
Yeah.
Like 20, what would you say? Like, I mean, even because all of the colleges here too, so I'm gonna say 19 to like late 20s. That's all you find in the city. And
even the people that I've come across, like at the gym and stuff, that are a bit older, are very young in spirit. Like,
they're very vibrant city.
They're very mature, but they're very like young in how they look, how they exercise, their daily routine. Like this is like a very good place to be if you want to better your life, I think. Do I think it can chew you up and spit you out some nights?
100%.
Absolutely. But I think from like a self-growth perspective, I've grown more here than I ever thought I was gonna, and I've only been here 5 months now.
Yeah, it took me a little while to like adjust to. I mean, Nashville can be very demanding to me. I'll say that. Like, there's always. I think the hardest thing for me to adjust to now is FOMO. Like, because I can tell you, since I've lived here, there's probably never been a day where I have not had the opportunity to do something fun.
Yeah.
Like, there's just always stuff going on. There's always something you could do. I promise you, like, one of your friends is doing something that you could go do, and just sometimes you have to sit it out. And I hate sitting stuff out. But
yeah, I remember when I had first been here, I think maybe like a month in, we met, and then we started going out, hanging out and stuff. And I think we legit went out 2 nights a week for like 2 months straight, dude. And we haven't gone out in since Halloween? It's been 2.5 weeks.
Since Halloween, yeah.
And honestly, I've been enjoying this like break that we're taking, but I can't wait to get back out there.
Part of the reason is because the weather is so cold right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Like it's not that like I'll go out in the cold, but It's just a little bit harder to go out there in the cold and sit outside and wait in lines and stuff like that. It's just like when the weather's nice here, man. Oh my God.
It's happening.
It's happening all the time.
Even like you live down the street, freaking 6 o'clock in the morning, you go outside, there's people are running.
Party buses.
Party buses are going. People are working out outside. It's like when the weather's nice here, it almost reminds me of New York, but New York's a little bit too busy.
Yeah.
Like this is like the perfect balance for me. It's a city.
Well, I mean, people call this Nash Vegas, which I've never been to Vegas, so I can't personally speak on it.
I've never been to Vegas either.
But I said it was New York City at the South.
I could see.
I've been to New York.
I could see the parallel.
Very small, like much smaller, but I don't know, man. The city just gets after it.
It does.
Thursday, 9:00 in the morning.
It's
party
weird
bus.
though, because it's like in every way. Obviously, like tourists come here and people that aren't from here, they come here to go out and drink, have fun, blah, blah, blah. But the people that live here, like the getting after it isn't just going out at night. Like, dude, I go to Quantum right down the street. People work hard as hell in there. People got some physiques in that gym that
100%.
You wouldn't believe. Like, it's like, how did you do that? What do you eat every day? I need to know.
Chicken.
Chicken, rice, broccoli. Chicken, rice, broccoli. I couldn't do it. But, yeah, it's like people are smart here. People are in grad school. People are in undergrad. People are, grinding, working 2-3 jobs to pay their rent so that they can live here and then work on their career at the same time. So in that sense, like I love this place. Going out in New York is like ridiculous. It's fun. Don't get me wrong. Going out in New York is really fun, but it's like, it's a hassle every time you
I was
do
going to
it.
say, I feel like it'd be such a hassle. I've never been out in New York, but just getting from point A to B in New York.
It's tough.
When I visit,
depending on where you're going.
It's a lot.
It's tough depending on where you're going. Any form of like ride is expensive out there. Like taxi, Uber, Lyft, all expensive. Mm-hmm. Bringing your car, forget about it. Parking is like unbelievable.
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
But if you take like the subways and stuff, it's not expensive, but who knows how to do that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Like I see so many videos of the subways and just shit not going right on the subways. Like, yo, I'm not doing that.
My friend Matt, he works for NJ Transit, and like we always make fun of him because trains are always late or canceled or whatever for X, Y, and Z reason. I mean, it happens in the flying industry all the time. My flight got delayed last time. I'm not gonna complain, but
big epidemic right now. So the flight's getting delayed.
But we always clown on Matt. We'll be like, "Fuck NJ Transit! Like you're the reason the trains are late and all this shit." But yeah, New York's definitely a hassle. I got some friends that live there and they love it. Like they absolutely love it. I'm sure it's a little different when you live there and you don't have a car. Yeah, you can walk everywhere, but. I know for me personally, it's just a hassle, and it's very expensive.
To me, there's just some cities that I think are always cool to visit, and New York is one of them.
Yeah,
like I couldn't live in New York. I love big cities. Like I only see myself, at least while I'm single and super career driven and whatever, living in a big city because I love always having something to do. I love having sports teams to go watch and stuff like that. But just New York is too much for me personally.
Yeah, I've never been a hockey guy, but Preds games, dude, are fun.
Preds games are my favorite thing to do in Nashville.
Shout out Cicely.
She's the GOAT. If you want to buy any Preds tickets from her, do it. Use the code Barker. Shameless plug.
For sure. Yeah, she's the homie. So on the topic of like New York and stuff, like I said, the people is the biggest difference between here and there.
Oh, yeah.
That's the biggest difference.
100%.
Is the food good here? Yeah. But there's good food there, too.
I mean, I feel like, for the most part, unless you're like, now, if you're from one of these states, don't come at me. But, like, if you're from, like, North Dakota, like, yeah, I don't know what food you eat out there. But
I don't know what
like
they do in North Dakota.
Most, like, big cultural cities, I feel like there's good food.
I don't know what they do in North Dakota at all.
Don't know. If you're from North Dakota, tell us what you do. Tell us what you eat.
Yeah, would love to hear about it.
Besides bison.
Yeah, but other than that, like, the apartments here, all right, maybe not New York, but where I was from, in Carteret, like, apartments are the same price.
Yeah.
Just because we were close to New York. But the people is, like, the biggest difference, like I said. And it's kind of weird because when you think about Nashville, nobody's from here, but we all kind of have the same, like, not giddiness, but willingness to talk to one another and, connect with each other and learn different things, which is kind of weird because this place made me do that. I was always into conversation. That's probably been like, as a human being, that's what I enjoy the most, is talking to other people, learning new things, expanding my knowledge on things that I have no clue about. Even if it's like worthless knowledge, I still want to know it. But like out there, it's hard to get. Here, like you could just walk up to somebody at the gym, at the grocery store, in the elevator, and 20-minute conversation before you even like thought of it.
We could go to the bar right down the street and strike up a conversation with probably anybody in that bar.
Anybody.
For at least 30 minutes.
And they wouldn't look at you weird neither.
No.
At all.
Grab a drink, go to anybody in the bar, and we'll have a conversation, and they'll just be fine with it.
Yeah, it's cool. Dude, I love this place. It's such a good place to be.
Yeah, I've been to a lot of different places, just having been military and traveling around a lot, and like there's just nothing that I could say like compares to Nashville, as far as like just city life and I don't even just the whole thing, just the whole vibe of the city. Like there's nowhere that I've been where I'm like, yo, this is kind of like Nashville.
Yeah, no, not at all. And I travel a lot for work. Like I go away almost every couple weeks, but I'd never been to California. I was like, oh, like I can't wait to go, blah, blah. You get out there, it's beautiful. California's a beautiful state. But it couldn't throw a stone at Nashville, in my opinion. Like going out down there, the people, they're not mean by any means, but it's just different here. The vibe here is so different. Mm-hmm. And I feel like everybody collectively knows what it is and like what's up with Nashville.
Yeah.
So it's always like an open door.
For sure. And I feel like too, because like nobody's like, we say like nobody's from here. But, like, everybody who I've mostly met has been from the South, from some state or the other. And then you obviously get, like, a lot of northern people like yourselves. We have a couple of northern friends, too. But, like, they're chill.
Yeah.
It's not like they have that, like, yo.
This place makes you do that.
Yeah, like, yeah. Like, why would you, like, why are you going to be uptight here? Like, to me, there's nothing to be uptight about. Super easygoing, super laid back. But I just feel like, for the most part, like, that Southern hospitality is live and well in Nashville.
Yeah, for sure. The food's awesome too. It can get a bit pricey to eat out here all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
But
I will say though, I don't think Nashville has like a super huge range of food.
No, it doesn't.
Like it doesn't really have like great Italian. Like you don't really have good Chinese. Like you have a couple spots.
And we could be
there.
wrong. Like I said, we're not from here, so put us on.
We're not from here, man. If you have good spots, please let us know. I love Chinese and Italian food.
Italian food's my favorite, and I miss it so much. I cook it all the time here because I never get to eat it out.
Yeah, man.
So
I love my grandma's lasagna.
Oh yeah. But yeah, it's definitely a cool place. A lot of different stuff to do. The one thing I haven't gotten to do yet that I really want to like get out and explore is just Tennessee in general. I've been pretty stuck to Nashville.
Yeah, there's a lot of good hiking out here, man.
Yeah, so
it's about like an hour and a half away.
Yeah, definitely.
Like the best spots.
Definitely want to get into some of that when the weather starts to get nicer next year. It's definitely something I'm looking forward to doing.
I think my favorite place I've been is Cummins Falls. It's like a state park. It's a huge waterfall. You just like hike down and then through this kind of like ravine, and then eventually you get to, like to the waterfall part, and you could swim in there, like jump off the waterfall. People like just picnic, bring their own food and stuff. Like super fun spot, super cool spot during the summer for sure. Water's still cold though.
Yeah, I'm sure.
A little bit, but
I'm sure.
The price you pay.
Yeah. So what was did you say your favorite thing about moving here? Or?
Yeah, I think my favorite thing about moving here is just finally, like I knew like always moving around, I wanted to live in a big city whenever I became like a young adult. That just sounds weird to say, but whenever like I got like a young professional, I knew I wanted to live in a big city. And like finally like being in one, it's like everything I thought it would be. So it's just kind of like, it's like, okay, like this is cool. Like just again, like having sports teams, having different places to eat, bars, nightlife, like you're never bored here. That's my favorite thing, I would say.
Yeah, this is like everything I didn't think it would be. When I had first made the decision, I was like, I'm going to hate it. I'm going to go there for a year and I'm going to be out.
Because you never visited here before you moved.
No, I'd never been here.
Yeah. See, I've been here. I was here like 3-4 times, and then I was like, yeah, I'm moving to Nashville for sure.
When I like thought in my head of like Nashville or Tennessee or even the South, I'm like, I hate country music. I'm going to hate it there. And then when you look up Nashville, all you see is Broadway. They
Yeah.
don't tell you about the rest of the city.
No.
You would have thought Broadway was like Nashville.
The only spot.
Yeah. That's like the smallest part of Nashville to me, at least.
Yeah, it's just a street.
Like Midtown's a little bit bigger than Broadway, it seems to me. I don't know the exact dimensions of everything, but
Yeah, it's just a street. Yeah, man. Nashville is something. I love it. I love it with all my heart. I don't know if I want to leave it. I don't know if I ever will leave it.
yeah, I'm not leaving for a while.
Yeah, for like, I could comfortably stay with it. Like, I'll be here for at least 5 years.
At least, at the very minimum. I would love for like, I don't know.
And I think too, like as we'll get older and stuff, like I think it'll be harder to leave because like we'll have like such a good friend group. We'll have an establishment like here. Like we'll be so comfortable to an extent. So like it's like why would you leave that?
Yeah,
Because like starting over it's tough, man.
It is.
Like I feel like that's the one thing I would appreciate the most from always having to move different places is I always got to start over. So like if you're not comfortable with that, like you have to get comfortable with it very quickly. So like I would live a place for a year, make friends, leave them, go to another place, make friends, leave them. And I think that's what made me such a good people person, is just always having to be able to like adapt to my environment. Which I will say this, when I left, I think when I left Panama City Beach the second time, I moved to Rhode Island for a year. Dude, rough.
Yeah, I don't know what there's to do in Rhode Island either, and I was very close to it.
Not even that, dude. Like I got clowned so much. Like you say y'all up there, bro. Like people look at you like you just murdered 10 people in front of them.
Yeah, they probably made fun of how you talk for sure.
Like how I talked, and then I think at the time I was like a little chubby. So like like I sound like a country bumpkin, and then I'm a little chubby, bro. Like these people have never seen somebody like this in their life.
That's
like
hilarious.
like straight up, bro. Like I hated Rhode Island. Like I think the Northeast is very beautiful for like the landscape, and I say this too. Like I think if you took Southern people and put them in the Northeast would be the best.
Yeah.
But you just have the Northeast people in the Northeast, and it makes it like it's just tough.
And
the Northeast is tough, man.
I love the Northeast. I love it. Like I said, 22 years of my life, I lived in the Northeast. I lived in that one town, and it was tough to leave. Like I went to school an hour away, which isn't close enough to just come home all the time.
But it's close enough.
But all my high school went there.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of people that I went to high school with went to Montclair State.
Okay.
So it was like I never really left. I made tons of new friends at Montclair. Like the soccer team made tons of great friends. But when it came down to it, I always knew I had those friends to fall back on if I didn't find other friends there. So it was never like a risk. So when I got the opportunity to move here, it was super uncomfortable. But what was I gonna do, dude? Was I not gonna go out and meet people? I had to.
Yeah, you have to, man. And like, I think I saw the other day somebody was like, as a guy, they're like, I don't know the last time I've made a guy friend. And to me, I just don't get that. Like, I feel like, yeah, it's probably like for a dude, it's harder to meet dudes because like girls could do like the Bumble BFF stuff and stuff like that. Like, it's not weird for them. Like a guy, like,
I would never do that.
Like I wouldn't do that personally. And I think I've been here about a year and a half now, and I think I've finally gotten to the point where I have like a good, solid friend group.
I feel like we meet somebody new every 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
Like we're in a group chat with like 20 people that we've all met here.
Just from bars.
And I feel like it grows every week.
From bars and friends of friends, and they just keep adding to it.
Yeah. Like we're probably getting close to 30, 45 people.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I knew not one person when I moved here.
Dude, it took me a long time to find like just a group to go out with and stuff like that. But I don't know. I feel like once it like kind of like once the first few came, like it just started snowballing, and now it just keeps snowballing.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's nice to know too about our group because like we all generally like to do the same thing, but at the same time, like everybody's different. And like some people want to do this, some people want to do this. Like no matter like what kind of your vibe is for that day, like, and at least in our group, like you could do something with somebody.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in our friend group, you're probably one of the only people I see Monday through Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, like everybody kind of regroups and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool because you get that space and that time to go at your profession, take your time, go to the gym, eat whatever you're going to eat and do what you got to do as far as like your routine goes and what you're comfortable with. And then on the weekends, like we'll all group up and go do something, or, you know, go to your apartment, come here, watch fights, whatever it is that we do. I think that's a cool like dynamic that our friend group has, because it's not like, I don't know, there's times where I'm like, I'm not doing nothing today, or I'm not going out, and nobody's bugging you. Like,
No, yeah, it's like
oh,
we'll see him maybe tomorrow. We'll maybe see him next weekend.
Yeah.
Like, but that's what. Back to your point of like everybody's on their grind out here. That's what I'm saying. Like we see each other during the weekdays, but everybody else like working and stuff, like they're busy. Like everybody kind of gets that. Like nobody's hounding nobody. Like yo, come, you gotta come. Like nah, bro, like, we get it. Like you got stuff going on for the weekdays, especially like, I mean, all of our friends are professionals now. I'm in school, you're in a professional, like Pat and everybody else like that. But like weekdays, like people just know like you're busy.
Yeah, I mean, that's just how it goes. Catch me on COD at night, though, that's for sure.
Work hard, play hard.
Catch me on COD at night, though, that's for sure. It's a guarantee.
100p.
Yeah, the new Call of Duty, man, now I'll say it gets frustrating.
It's frustrating as hell right now.
The game gets frustrating, but it's brought out the inner kid in me that I don't think I've seen in like 8 or 9 years.
It's made me... I stopped playing COD for a long time. Probably,
me too.
Like the last time I seriously played COD was probably MW3.
Yeah, me too.
Like
very long time
logged
ago.
Good hours, and I'm logging good hours in this COD. Like I think I looked the other day, and I'm like almost at 2 days.
That's brutal. It's been out for what, like 3-4 weeks?
Bro, I mean, what else am I... Like it's like, again, like it's cold, so I could go out in the cold, or I could stay in my warm house and
play COD with the boys.
And play COD with the boys and have a good fucking time.
Yeah, it's definitely brought out like that inner kid in me I haven't seen in so long. Like,
oh yeah,
I'm having so much kid fun on that game.
And I think too, like for a little while, like, well, I just got the PS5, not just got, but like I've had it for 3-4 months, so to me it's still fucking brand new. And for like playing on the PS4 for so long, and like the same games over and over, like I'd stopped playing video games for a while. Just I was bored of it. It was boring. Like it was nothing new. Got the PS5. Shit's beautiful, by the way. Shit's like a damn near computer. But just like playing on the PS5 and now playing with like all our friends on COD and stuff like that, like it's made me like video games again. Yeah, because it's fun. Like I genuinely have fun when we log on and we play. For a while, dude, I would play like maybe a game of like 2K or some shit, and I'd be like, yo, I'm bored. Let me, and like that's just too, like living out here. If you're doing whatever, and you could find something to do in a heartbeat, like I said. So like, I'd be like, yo, I'm bored. Go out, do something. Now it's like, yo, I'm having a good time. Fuck it, I'm staying in.
Yeah, I hate the people that are like. So everybody has their hobbies. Everybody enjoys doing something that maybe isn't productive, but it's good for them, like mentally, socially, whatever it is. Like, yeah. And the people that are like, oh, like you shouldn't play video games. You shouldn't do this. I hate people. You work out too much. You do this. Like, bro, that's what I do.
Let me be me, man.
My bank account's right. My physical health is right. Like, let me do something that I enjoy. Even if you don't think it's productive, right? Like, and there's people that make tons of money playing video games. Not that I'm going to be that person by any means, but you can make a career out of anything you want. And that's the one thing I like about the internet. It has its pros, it has its cons for sure, but you can make a career out of anything nowadays. Like if you put your mind to it, you could put if you put the work in, you can make a career out of anything on the internet nowadays.
The internet has definitely made anything possible for the most part.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially with just anything. Like gaming now too is so big.
Yeah,
like it's a. I know it's $1 million business, but I want to say it's $1 billion like business between like the esports shit.
I would probably argue trillions, dude.
Yeah, like,
and I don't even know if that's like a legit dollar amount that's possible, but whatever the high, it's got to be one of the most profitable industries in the world,
for sure,
right now. Especially like, I don't know, you spend $1,000, $1,500 on a gaming setup and like streaming setup, and you're like golden. You make good content, you're interesting, people will watch. I personally am not one to watch video game streams, but one of my friends back home, she watches GTA roleplay like it's television.
Really?
And you'd never think that, but you know, people like what they like,
people,
and they're gonna watch.
People
what
have
they
their little
watch.
niche, whatever. But yeah, I mean, I've never understood people who hate on a certain thing that somebody likes. And like most of the times too, I find that when people do that, they probably haven't even tried it.
Yeah, I mean, I posted those 2 TikToks and I got people on my phone. Like I have a mixed bag of people. There's people that are making fun of me about it, jokingly, but at the same time,
there's truth behind every.
But then there's also people that are like,
joke.
dude, like that's so motivational. That's something I wish like I want to start doing something like that. And it's like, dude, do it.
Yeah, why not?
It's on your mind anyway, right? Like that's how I feel about this podcast. I feel like not being from Nashville is such a popular thing that gets talked about, but not really in depth talked about.
Yeah.
Why are people here? Why are people coming here?
Yeah.
Like what brought?
I mean, it's one of the biggest growing cities in America.
100%, and you could see that with all the construction. Right. There's a reason that they can afford to do all that here.
Yeah.
But I think it's something that's super interesting, something that I look forward to talking to other people about. I really, like, I'm not one. So I did a podcast with Angelo and Matt, my best friends from home, and it was super fun, super interesting. We had a great time doing it. I ended up moving. That's why, we didn't continue doing it. But I never, even when I was with them, I was like, I don't care if this blows up or not. It's got none. If it gets 2 views, guess what? I'll still be sitting here tomorrow.
It's not about the views.
No, it's not about none of that. It's about personal growth, self-growth. I want to learn from other people. I want to, learn more about Nashville.
Connections, man.
Yeah. I mean, a person that you never thought would have any impact on your life can end up getting you your next job, or
networking can take you so far.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Like, especially in today's age, like if you know 1 or 2 of the right people, sometimes that may be all you need.
And I also think Nashville has a ton of interesting people.
Oh, for sure.
So like if other people listen to it and they hear it and they get to know this person, I think that's something that's pretty cool because it's a big city. I don't know how many people live here, but I would assume there's a lot of people because I see people in my own apartment building every day that I haven't seen before. So I could only imagine, on a city level.
I mean, for the most part, we go to Tin Roof a lot, like we said, and I don't know if it's because I'm drunk or what, but for the most part, I do not see the same person twice in Tin Roof.
Nah, I think...
And I know there's, like you said, like there's people who strictly go to Tin Roof in certain bars, and again, it's probably because I have a little buzz going, but like...
I'll very rarely...
I just can't be like, yo, I've seen you before.
There's definitely people we see pretty often, but at this point, we know them. And when you see them, you say what's up.
Yeah.
But then there's the 90% that you've never seen before.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's maybe their first time there, or they go all the time and you just never saw them.
Never noticed.
The coolest thing about Tin Roof to me is the live music side is something I would never put on my speakers in my apartment ever. But when you're there and
with a little bit of a buzz going.
A little bit of buzz, the energy, the people, it's a lot of fun, dude.
Yeah, like again, like I love all kinds of music. Like if it's good, I will listen to it. I listen to jazz, I listen to rap, country, 100%. Alternative, all that. If it's good, I will listen to it. But like just sometimes, like when the crowd is into it, man, like it's so much fun. And I love the DJ side. Like I just love DJs in general. Like I go out, I want to hear like a beat, I want to dance, I want to have a good time. But like you go out on the live music side, Mr. Brightside comes on, shoulder to shoulder deep. Like, yo, what? Like, you can't tell me, like, you're not having a good time at that point.
Yeah, shameless plug to Tin Roof. It's the spot.
Dude, best spot.
From Nashville or not, go to Tin Roof. It's a lot of fun. I'll wait in that 20-minute line every day of the week.
Yeah, man. The line's the line, but...
It's a whole lot of fun. We love Tin Roof.
100%. I can't wait. I need to go soon again. It's been a minute.
My friends will be here next weekend, so...
Next weekend is when we will be at Tin Roof.
Next weekend, catch us at Tin Roof. Although this probably won't have come out by then, so... Just catch us there one weekend. We'll be there.
Well, there's a chance that you will see us at Tin Roof at some point. And when the weather comes back up, you bet your ass
you'll see me at Tin Roof. For sure. What, for you, like, what do you see happening for yourself with the podcast? Like, what do you want to get out of it?
Like I said, connections. Just like talking to cool people. And I don't know, like this is episode 1. Don't know how far it's going to go. Don't know how big it's going to get. Don't know who we're going to bring on. But like just any conversation or any insight that we didn't already have is valuable.
Yeah, for sure. And I think sharing that to other people is cool too. Like, imagine this podcast. I know we're not anywhere deep into it and we haven't had anybody on here yet to learn new things. Imagine this existed when you moved here, though.
Oh, dude, huge. Like,
Game
again,
changer.
For sure. For sure.
I would have knew something. I would have known that there was other stuff than
I would have
in
known
Nashville.
there. Yeah, I was literally about to say the same. I would have known there's more to Nashville than Broadway.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it, even like we can have like small businesses that exist in Nashville, like our barber.
Oh, Whitney.
Whitney's cool as
She's
heck.
the GOAT. Another plug.
Shameless
plugs, man. Whitney
Ford, I think her name is.
No, I thought it was Hudson.
I don't know. We don't know your last name, Whitney. We're really sorry, but Whitney, awesome barber.
Whitney Odom. We're all wrong.
Ford, I said.
Yo, Whitney Odom. Follow her on the gram if you need a cut. Best in the game in Nashville, I promise you.
Best in the game for sure. But yeah, like, just showing people different things that are in Nashville. And then, the conversation gets deeper than that with no matter who you talk to. You're going to get more than just.
Because, again, everybody's different. Everybody likes their own things. Like, I know people who only go out in East. Mm-hmm. I can honestly say I have not been out in East enough. I've probably been out in East like 4 or 5 times. But they have like a super cool bar called Up Down. It's just an arcade bar, like 2-3 stories. Dope. Don't ever go out there. And I feel like, too, part of it is like where people live in Nashville. So, like, if you live in East, obviously, you're going to go to East Bars because it's right there.
Yeah.
We live Midtown, West End. So, like, we're probably going to go to the Demumbrian. We're probably going to go to Tin Roof or Midtown, Demumbrian, maybe Broadway. I feel like we don't go out in Germantown enough, though.
I don't think I've ever been.
I love Von Elrod's during the day. Best patio. If you're looking for the best patio in Nashville, go to Von Elrod's when the weather is nice. Huge patio. They got the German Steins. It's a great deal. Thursdays, they have the half off. Another shameless plug. Mothers.
I've never been.
You've been. You were like, we took you the one night, and you're like, yo, I'm not feeling this.
I don't think I've ever been.
And then we went to Tin Roof.
I've never been to Mother's.
I swear.
We went to Red Door.
No, Mother's is in Germantown. It was like when you walk in, it's small, and then you go in the back, and we're in the patio. Yeah, you've been, bro. You've been.
So, oddly enough, though, the people that were upstairs in Mother's in that like fancy room looked like they were having a great time.
Well, I think they were like a group or like a party group.
That's got to be like a super cool spot to go to when you have a large group and you can get a seat, like a setting like that, bro. They're sitting on couches.
I know.
They're lounging. Like it looked classy.
Mm-hmm.
We just weren't looking for that. Like we weren't really.
No, yeah, we were trying to get after it a little bit more. Mother's to me is more low key, chill. They play great music though.
Oh yeah.
Like the first time I went, they were playing like 2000s, like some 90s, like just great music. But yeah, I know girls who
swear by it.
Love Mother's.
Swear by it.
Literally.
Like they don't go a lot of.
Yo,
other
where
places.
are you going tonight, Mother's?
It's like okay.
Heard
you. But
sidebar, I gotta piss.
Go ahead, bro. Nick's got to piss. See you later, buddy. Man. I kind of got to go too. So just don't hit the cameras. Don't hit them. They got to stay in the same spot. I'm not going to cut it. I'm just going to keep going. But yeah, Nashville, super cool place. There's so much more to it than you would think. To all my friends at home, I wish some of you guys would not come out here more often, but be open to the idea of, spending a little bit more than like a weekend here. Because, you go out for 3 days here, it's going to eat you up quick. Like Nashville, the pace of drinking and the pace of the bar hopping and stuff, it catches up to you quick. So, as I learn more about the state and the city and what there is to do out here, I'll definitely like have more of my friends and stuff out here from home. Because I like, that was the hardest part of moving for me was my home friends. I have such a great group of home friends, like love those people to death, would do anything for them. And I didn't know if I would be able to find people like that out here. Obviously like your home friends hold a different place in your heart and your mind, but I met some awesome people out here too. Some great friends that, really bring a lot to the table as far as like conversation goes, and they all do different things. I don't know. I haven't met one photographer or videographer out here yet. And that's kind of niche to me because by me, a lot of my friends do it. A lot of people where I'm from are into that creative space. Nick is back now, so when he sits down, he can talk to you guys for a minute or two while I use the restroom as well. I was just talking about like my home friends and how I didn't know how I would adjust to it. I didn't think that I would find friends that like obviously your home friends. I know you moved around a lot, but they hold like a different place in your heart. They saw you when you were a kid. They saw you as you got older. Like they saw the progression and stages in your life. So I didn't know if I would find friends out here that I would trust or be like as comfortable and confident with. But I was saying that I've met some great people out here, and a lot of people do a lot of different things. Like I haven't met one photographer or videographer out here yet. By me, that's such a common career and like path because there's obviously like New York is there, fashion, etc.
For sure.
But I can't believe that. Apologies, we have the Nets and Sixers game on. I cannot believe that the Nets are in a close game right now, dude. The Sixers have nobody in the game.
Fuck the Nets. Let's go Celtics. We're winning the chip this year. Tatum MVP. You heard it here first.
He can't take this back. So
you heard it
when it doesn't
here
go
first.
this way, we have
You
proof.
heard it here first.
But yeah, I didn't know like what to expect as far as people out here. I knew they'd be nice.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if they'd be like my people. If I would trust them or like you know, be into that not intimate friendship in like a weird way, but like them knowing who you are to your core.
Yeah.
You know?
And that to me that's just something that comes along. Like my like childhood friend, or not even childhood friends, but like my back home friends are just the people I graduated high school with. So like I lived with them for a little bit, like Jake and all them. So I graduated PC from high school in Panama City Beach. I did 2 years in Colorado Springs too. So that's why like Austin, I went to high school and middle school with Austin. So like that's how we're so close. So yeah, I'd say like my like back home friends, I don't even really get to see anymore because my parents aren't in Panama City Beach anymore. They're at the beach in Alabama. But yeah, man, it's different because like high school's a weird time. Like high school is a big development time of your life.
Yeah.
So you just go through different shit.
I actually was just talking to my high school football coach yesterday, and I was like, dude, like, I didn't realize how much of what, like, those coaches are instilling in you as a person and as, like, a young man in life follows you once you're done with those sports in high school or even college, like, when I finished. College was a little different. Like, you feel like your coach is more tied to winning.
Yeah.
Because that's how they keep their job. In high school, do I think that matters a little bit? Sure. But I think the coaches that are building young men.
They're also like a PE coach.
Yeah. So like
a history teacher.
I feel like the coaches that are building people are valued a little more than the coaches that are winning. I mean, obviously, like not at like the Don Boscos and Mater D preps of the
like
world.
Your privates.
Those are different. But like public high school coaching is definitely about building character. And obviously you want to win and be competitive. But I was just telling him like, I didn't realize how much of what you guys were teaching me was going to follow me.
Yeah.
Outside of that. And especially now that I moved, I like remember those things vividly and I like use them daily.
I've had some great coaches. I've had some pretty shitty coaches.
For sure, mixed bag.
You always remember the great ones and you always remember the super shitty ones. But do you ever feel like between high school and college, like some of the stuff was like yesterday? Or like last week? Like there's just like instances where like super memorable stuff that like I did this thing in high school called DECA, and it's like a business group and it's like nationwide and even nationally. And like I just remember like we like in Colorado at the time, I think we placed third in the state of Colorado, and then we got to go to nationals in Orlando. And like just that whole experience, like being with like, it was like with Austin and then one of his best buddies, one of my friends from high school, Jonah, just being with like them. Like I remember it like yesterday. Like I could tell you exactly like what happened, but bro, that's been like 7 years ago now.
Yeah, I more so high school than college. College, I had some memorable moments, but college was also a bit rough. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I changed career or like my major a bunch of times.
Yeah, I did the same until.
So that was a little bit of a tricky time. I met some awesome people in college though. Like some of my best friends today are from college, as opposed to home. But I definitely remember vividly like moments from high school, specific like instances and events and games and stuff like that. I can remember like exact words,
Yeah.
and it's weird.
I was going to bring up a memory, but don't know if my mom will ever watch this or not, so we'll let it slide.
That was like the trickiest thing. So when like we did it with Angelo and Matt, I would always think like, what if my mom or my dad listen to
Bro,
this?
like I'm not about to get caught slipping.
We're like me, Angelo, and Matt are like childhood best friends. Like played in a sandbox together.
Yeah.
So like, do we really want to air ourselves out on here?
No.
For my mom, dad, and his parents to hear, they're gonna be mortified. But yeah, it's kind of cool. Those are like character building moments that not make or break you, but they definitely shape you into making your own decisions and stuff. Like I make decisions today based on experiences I've had the past however many years. So
for college, for me too, I was the same way. I changed my major twice, 2 to 3 times, and then I fucked around
and found out
my first. You find out real quick in college. So if you're a freshman and you fuck around too much, you're gonna find out the hard way. And me, like I'm a hard headed motherfucker, so like I have to like learn the hard way. And like everybody's different. Like some people could get it, like don't have to do that, but like I had to fail in order to succeed. And I feel like that's for most people in life, that's kind of how it is. Maybe not to the extent I did. Like I didn't get kicked out or anything.
There's nothing wrong with that either.
Like there was a semester, like it was like why am I here?
Yeah.
Just not like it was simple shit, man. Just like not going to class, simple assignments that I just didn't do. Like, and then you have that little talk with your advisor, and he's like, hey, so you don't pull your shit together, man, you're gonna be sitting at home.
Yeah, for sure. But to me, like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
No, and again, like that is the way I had to learn. Like I had to fail to the extent I did to be able to like, this is what I want to do. And then like also back to like the point of my whole experience with like the cancer and everything, like up until that point I had no idea what I wanted to do. Sitting in Houston at my Airbnb because I had to be out there for like the whole summer for radiation, and I'm just sitting out there and thinking, like I had so much time to think out there, and like that's when it just kind of hit me. It was like the team I had and still have, because I will always have them until they retire or whatever, but the team I had was like such an impact on me. That's when it just kind of like hit me. It's like, if I can make one other person going through like a battle with cancer or anything kind of related to that feel like comfortable, or not even comfortable, just be like feel a little bit better that day, that's why I want to do it.
Yeah.
And just like that shit sucks, man.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But,
I couldn't even imagine.
Changed my life for the best. Worst thing I'd never want to do again. But like again, I'm so thankful that it did happen, because without that, like I could have still been fucking off and who knows what. But
yeah, for sure.
Worst best thing.
Yeah. I got to piss, dude.
Go for it, man.
I'll be back.
Go for it. Fuck the Brooklyn Nets, the Giants, any New York team. If you're a fan of New York, it's not personal, but it is. Let's go Boston. The man's back.
What'd you talk about?
I kind of took a break, but I really just talked about my distaste for New York sports.
Oh, cool.
Being a all Boston fan.
Yeah, we just happen not to give a fuck, so can move on from that. Cool beans. We're
getting some minor traction.
Yeah, it's cool. I don't know. I love watching podcasts.
Same.
And I also love intellectual conversation with other people. So to me, like having my own podcast was always in the books for me. To what capacity I would like take it, I don't know. But just gonna fuck around and find out.
Should ride the wave.
Just gonna fuck around and find out.
Yeah, dude, I'm the same way. Like, this is something that could go a long way, could go a little way, But we'll find out one way or another. We're going to find out.
And like, to me, the hardest part of it all for a lot of people is the production part. And that's like second nature to me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So,
it just,
so that part of it
just worked.
That part of it is like the easy part.
Yeah.
Like setting up the cameras and the mics and all that and editing it. That's the easy part. Is it a lot of work? Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, 100%.
Like, it's a lot of work. But at the same time, to me, that's what I do. So
yeah, I
don't really have like a beef with it or a problem doing it. Yeah. Especially when I'm passionate about it, it becomes much easier to do. That's like anything in life. Always, like, and I stand by this, do what you want to do in life and you will never, quote unquote, work.
It's sayings like that. Like, I think people, it's kind of like when your mom told you something as a kid and she was like, my mom used to say, or told yada, yada, yada. And you're like, yeah, whatever. Then you get older and you're like, yo, my mom was right about everything. Or my dad was right about it. My grandma, whoever it was, like that person in your life. Like,
100%.
Dude, it took me till college, till after like I started getting my stuff together. So probably my like sophomore, or junior year. I was like, everything my mom has told me is because she's experienced it herself.
Yeah.
And like, that's the part of being like so young and like naive. Like, you just don't want to listen and you probably want to find out for yourself, which go for it. Like, please do, like, be your own person, experience everything. But, yeah, man.
More often than not, your parents know a lot more than you give them credit for, a lot more than you think.
For sure.
And you might not agree with everything they say. Like, even to this day,
Yeah.
I don't agree with everything my parents say.
No. And if you do, okay. I feel like too, people like, obviously respect, like you should respect all your parents, everything like that, elders, yada, yada, yada. But like, don't just be a yes man.
No. Like, my parents and I have tough conversations all the time, but we've earned that respect with one another that we can have that conversation because they know where I'm coming from. They know I'm not coming at them or attacking them. They know how I am and how I interact in the conversations I have. So we've built that respect and earned that trust with one another to be able to have those conversations. Mm-hmm. And that's where everything starts. You can't just start, like, even at work, you can't just start making demands or disagreeing and all this stuff. Like, you have to earn that trust with people so that they know where you're coming from. Because if you don't, it's easier to assume the worst intention rather than the best before something happens.
Yeah.
So definitely earning that trust and building that is key. But as far as the podcast goes, dude, I think Not From Nash, just the concept in and of itself, whether that was the name or not or whatever it was, is cool. And I think it's something that people can relate to. And I look forward to continuing to do it. I look forward to having on the guests. We don't know exactly who we're going to have on yet. We got
a couple ideas.
We've discussed a few people that we think we could bring on, but nothing set in stone and nothing that we have arranged yet.
And again, if you do see this and you're from Nashville, hit us up.
Yeah, hit me up. I'll drop our handles and stuff in the intros and whatever. But, yeah, I'm always down to talk, always down to have a conversation, reach out.
For sure. It could be, you could pop in for 5 minutes. You could pop in for 3 hours. Like, we're here for it. Tuesdays and Thursdays.
No doubt, Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's when we're going to try our absolute best to get these going. But yeah, I think that's a pretty solid first episode, dude. I'm ready to wrap it up if you are.
Yeah, I'm done.
All right, cool. Thanks for listening and watching.
Thanks, y'all. Have a good one.
Stepping out, everybody's gonna know that I'm here. Drop a whole paycheck on a bunch of buckets of beer. Boy, the whole damn place is gonna get around. Yeah, everybody's gonna know that I'm stepping out.